Good evening, my friends, and welcome to Natural One. So I heard someone's phone go off at that moment.
How do you know it wasn't my stomach and/or a fart?
Don't Steamboat Willie?
Don't question me.
Very distinctive.
As you can see, I am joined here by hilarious people. Welcome, hilarious people.
We're laughing.
Having such a great time.
Look at us. Oh God, I broke it.
You're broken. Can someone please reset James? Please.
Where's the button?
Cognitive reset.
Oh God, it's worse.
Hey, we got one hell of a show for you guys today. Hopefully it's not too boring.
Hell of a show, because we're going to hell.
Well, we'll see what happens with Sen.
In a handbasket.
That is where lawyers come from.
Hey.
No, they don't go to hell.
What?
Satan won't take them. Professional courtesy.
So where do they go? All right. Quickly moving into our announcements so that we can get into this wunderbar episode. First and foremost, Gordon Biersch. Who's Biersching it today? We got some right here from Kelly. Kelly, won't you tell us about that Biersch of yours?
I have some Heffenweisen again. Yes.
Why?
Thanks to the lovely Tiana, who heard my plea, and this
Whatever she
time,
may be.
this time was like, you know what? We're gonna up our game, and instead of a couple, I'm just gonna get 2 6-packs.
There it is.
I know. I'm
There
thrilled.
it is. Love the Gordon Biersch. Love that they sponsor us. Thank you so much. And how about another slogan? What do you got?
Tonight.
Why pee water when you can pee Biersch?
This is not beneficial for Gordon Biersch.
And the slogan has every stutter that all of us have.
Oh, sees?
Heffen.
So basically, you're saying Biersch, it cleans you out.
I don't know if
Yes.
that's
For
a
your
thing.
bladder.
Biersch, did you even need kidneys?
I like that one.
All right. I'm pretty sure they're going to stop sponsoring us at some point, and it's going to be directly because of it.
They're gonna be like, yo, yeah, we can't.
In all seriousness,
Biersch
though,
v. Chaos.
yeah, we'll have that court case. We'll lose. It's all documented. Shit. The internet is forever.
Oh, yay.
Internet is for porn.
Why didn't no one tell me?
Okay, we're going to keep on moving. Next up, we have Nord Games, a brilliant partner. We've been partnered with them for a long time. We do have a couple of things we're using tonight. Of course, the luck deck. On a natural 20 that you guys roll, you get a good luck card. If you guys roll a nat 1, you get a bad luck card, which is wonderful. Check out Nord Games. If you do ! Nord Games in the chat, it will bring up our affiliate link, and you can get a code for 20% off at checkout, which is Chaotic20. Chaotic20. They do have a new Kickstarter going on right now. You guys see that? The Ultimate Guide to Alchemy, Crafting, and Enchanting.
It looks very cool.
Yes.
It sounds it.
It does, right? I'm really excited to back this project and get some of that into this world, if I can, which is awesome. So, big thanks to Nord Games. Go check them out, guys. They're brilliant. I think we're going to have a Nord Games guest here next week, right? Yes, we are going to have a Nord Games guest next week. Yes.
Nord Games guest.
Nord Games guest.
Nord Games guest time. Yeah, that's a great.
It's going to be wonderful.
Do we know who?
For the mitten. It's going to be, can I reveal who? Yeah?
Is it a secret? Oh, we're getting
I'm not allowed to.
I'm hearing a hum. That's a thumb. Never mind.
We got a thumbs up.
Thumbs up?
Yeah.
We got
thumbs up.
we got a thumbs up question mark?
Meg of Nord Games, Megaless herself, is going to be coming for the mitten.
That's awesome.
Yes, it
Meg's
is.
great.
Yeah, she's brilliant. She helped me out in no small fashion whatsoever with getting Uzlium into their settlements book that's coming out. So yeah, she was integral to that. She's brilliant. We've had her on the show before. She killed it as Granny Grumble.
Oh yeah.
As Granny Grumble.
I love the Grumble family.
Yeah,
Beautiful
absolutely.
family.
And I'm very excited to have her back for the mitten. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. All right. right now we are still using some prototype dice from Birds of Paradise. Check them out. They can't see.
James,
There
they're
we go.
here.
In this hand. They're gorgeous. Look at these. I love them. Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah. Paradise Arene? I don't know.
It is Paradise Farine. Our own copyrighted character from 2 different established businesses.
The camera really doesn't do them justice. Like they are absolutely stunning.
The paint.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. So thanks for lending us those. And when those come out, you'll be able to get your very own set.
Like these ones.
All right. Unfortunately, we have no Chaos Agents tomorrow. No Chaos Agents tomorrow, which is unfortunate.
Sad day.
It is. It is.
Sad.
But we did find out that Uzo wants to destroy the world in the last one, so that's news.
That's awesome.
I
You know,
mean,
goals.
Can you blame him?
No.
We found out that basically, I mean, Andros they found out, not the rest of the Foxy regulars, found out that basically he was looking for this patron Dendar of his so he could release him and have Dendar destroy the world as long as he and his friends are safe. So I was like, okay.
Oh, okay. So like only slightly worse than Thanos. That's fine.
Yeah, it tracks. It
Yeah,
tracks.
that's good.
Warren makes some amazing characters, that's for sure.
That he does.
Kills it.
So really, really excited for Chaos Agents, but not tomorrow. We'll be coming back soon. I don't know if it's next week. I think it's next week.
So soon.
I think it's next
We're
week.
getting a nod.
Yeah, next
Got a
week.
nod.
Next week. But we do have the likely finale of Pandemic Legacy Season 2
There's a good likelihood of that.
on Wednesday. That's right. On Wednesday. We got December left. So it's either 1 game or 2 games, but we're going to try and get through it on Wednesday. So come watch it live, see what happens, see if we fail or not.
Can we save the world before Santa delivers all those gifts?
That is a good question. That would be an excellent Christmas.
Yes, but are the gifts full of disease?
Oh,
Find out Wednesdays on
I was
Pandemic.
gonna say, if
Diseased
you
gifts.
fail, then you know it was Santa's fault because he went to every single house.
He went to China.
Oh.
Okay, so we're gonna keep moving. Let's move into bits.
I admire you.
Let's move right into bits.
Expect that.
Just give a little
The bits.
That's my cup.
move past that. Oh,
Is
I
it?
think that was my cup. I
That
was
was
using
the
it
one.
last
the
time.
last time. The Remy Cup. If you guys don't know about him, you should check him out. World Spinner. They have finished their Kickstarter. They made all the stretch goals, all of them, and we're
And
excited
then
to be
some.
working with them on that. All right. So for the bits, you guys had 4 remaining. Coming to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Nice catches. Nice catches all around. All right.
Only took 2 weeks to reacclimate.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
It's gonna be a one-handed and blindfolded next week.
First and foremost, we have 1,000 bits from our very own Venel Loswin to the players to help with their defense. They will need it.
Ah.
She said,
That's not a
I
good
said
sign.
It went there.
I said no, it didn't. That's been there.
Yeah.
Set the bar too high.
So there's the 1,000 from Venel Loswin. Thank you. And next, 1,000 bits from the Hefner to the DM. Oh. Yeah.
livid.
Ilvasar will use these.
Yeah, because he has a weak ass prosecution.
We'll
Just like
see.
his legs.
We'll see.
Twiggy legs.
The twiggiest. And then 1,000 bits from the Hefner to Ted and friends. Still mad about Ted. Oh, I'm sorry.
We fixed him.
We're supposed to massage him now like he's alive.
You
We
should
have fixed his
massage
axe, and
Ted's in the courtroom with you guys, right?
I believe he should be.
He's in there
Oh
with you
shit,
guys.
did we forget Ted again?
Just sitting in the rain.
Still out in the carriage.
And then 1,000 bits from Rav Starburner for Sen. So we'll give you 1,000 over to Sen.
Oh.
Thank you, Rav Starburner. Thank you, the Hefner. Thank you, Venel Loswin, everyone who donated. Thank you very much. And we're moving right into the story from there. But before we do that, I was given this
Oh my god, an envelope.
folder that says Rhea
Definitely
on
a
it.
folder.
What's it say?
It says Rhea.
Oh.
real quick, another 500 bits from Duke League to the players.
Thank you, Duke.
Okay, this one. There.
It hit my knuckle. Does that count?
Yes.
Oh, good.
From me.
Okay. Forgive me, Duke.
Thank you, Duke League, very much. For Rhea, so I will just hand this over to you.
Oh my god.
What's in the folder?
What's in the box?
It's a head.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
It looks like it's cute.
It's the many desserts crossed out forms of Rhea, according to Squeal. I don't know if y'all can see that on the camera.
I like that.
We
I
got
really like that.
Mr. Pound Cake, Mr. Angel Food Cake, Mr. Pound Cake, Mr. Red Velvet Cake,
that's a lot of
Mr.
blood.
Pull Apart Your Ass Cake. He didn't say your ass, so I just wanted to add that. I like that. And then Mr. Upside Down Cake.
Oh, I love that.
Future form.
Little
Upside down
bag.
food cake.
I love those. Those are really
It's
cute.
amazing.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is really cute, and they're drawn really well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ben, very much
I was
for
like,
that.
Ben actually went above and beyond even this because he also came back from Hawaii
What about Ryan?
and brought some amazing coffee that has been just smelling up my lap this whole time.
Oh, that's amazing.
It smells so good.
Coffee. Starbucks.
Thank you so much. This is awesome.
I don't get that.
We'll
Be
keep
good.
it up.
Alright.
That's really, really cute.
You don't remember the Pokemon show?
Starbucks. Oh.
Coughing and Arbuck?
Yeah, I remember
that
that.
was a reference, but I didn't
It is
know.
the reference.
For some reason, I only heard Starbucks.
It's coffee and Starbucks. Instead of coughing and Arbuck.
I get that. I'm sorry. I'm more reveling in the brilliance of it.
Oh, I can't take it. I cannot take credit for that. That's the internet. They are amazing.
Well, now you're a plagiarist, and I'm very upset.
What do you think D&D is?
Hey, you cite your sources, it's fine.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Last week on Natural One.
More like dun dun.
Anyone
The
know
party.
Judge
The
Judy?
party had finally caught up to Sen after killing the Oni. As they were talking with Sen, they heard some voices from down the corridor. Sounded like a familiar voice that you would have heard. Rhea decided as her big giant snake to block the entrance. That way they couldn't get to Sen. Didn't work out too well for Rhea, as they said, a giant snake is in our way. We can fix that. And Hadokened her with 5 lightning bolts.
93 points of damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Leaving her at what health?
1.
1 HP.
Still standing.
That's amazing.
Just barely,
Amazing.
but still standing.
Yeah.
Thank you, giant
Yeah.
snake.
8d6 each one. 8d6. So, Moon Druids, guys. Moon Druids.
Sips the tea.
They strode in, saying that they were going to take Sen back. And while that was happening, the city alderman, Orson Vikanovsky, came in with the journal that Maya had given to the cleric, who went straight to the alderman with it. Came in, accused Uzlium of bringing the enforcer in, the enforcer that summoned the Oni, and then not cleaning up after, when the Oni got out of control. And instead of Uzlium cleaning it up, all of you cleaned it up, including, and not before, finding the body of his son, Paicha Vikanovsky. It was a very emotional moment where the alderman screamed at them and pledged that Uzlium would not take a single person here, and remanded Sen into the custody of the Lithanian government. The Frostworms, Ilvasar Veneros himself, decided that he would litigate as the only court that could overrule this was the highest court in the land, the Imperial Council themselves, on which the first ambassador of Uzlium sits. So, it was determined that you guys would take the long way to Lithania City instead of using a portal, because the aldermen did not trust Uzlium to send you guys where they said they were going to send you, and instead they escorted you to Lithania City. When you guys entered Lithania City, well, before that, you guys went back and went to the Open Mind, mine even, and there you found Alistair with a potion and enough to start getting more potions and bringing it back to Litha to heal the petrification that the citizens of Litha underwent. And you guys used one potion on Ted himself, but not before Rhea fixed his stoned axe. The axe was totally stoned. Fixed the axe that had then turned to stone and broken using the mending cantrip.
Hella awkward like.
Yes. And then you guys brought Ted back to life. There was a brief but emotional moment where he saw everyone and you guys reunited. But before that, Sen had quite the conversation with Reginald, trying to figure out who Reginald was and how Sen was found by the Frostworms, insinuating that Reginald, who Sen had found out was carrying a Frostworm spellbook, had given their position to them. Reginald told Sen of his sordid past as a Frostworm. In particular, he was a warlock hunter for Uzlium, and that he had done enough killing in his time, and he decided to quit. Just wanted to live his life in peace, trying to slowly kind of make up for the things he had done by using magic responsibly, being an example of what a free mage could be. Then you guys headed over to Lithania City. I think he gave you one bit of advice when it came to dealing with the Frostworms in the case. He said they're going to make you out to be something that you're not, and you need to make sure that you can show that you are not what they say you are. You guys headed then to Lithania City, and as you were coming in, you saw the great city built up on this hill, this very large hill, almost a mountain, sprawling down with the palace at the very top, and each section walled off by these giant walls that curve up and over, known as the blinders. You also saw the Grand Ascensor, which is a staircase leading straight to the top of the palace from the bottom. But outside the city walls, you saw something very different. You saw the landing, basically the slums, shanties and shacks that had been put together with whatever material was there, mostly wood, not cleverly built. They are very temporary. They were meant to be. These are the citizens, the ones who came to Lithania, the downtrodden, the wilder races that were brought in. You have orcs and half-orcs. You have tieflings and bugbears and a number of other wild races there that were downtrodden. You guys did notice that they were starting what looked like the foundations of more wall to try and incorporate this section into the city. But as you were going into the city, you noticed people were begging if you guys could help get them in, if there's anything you could do. And you saw the sad reality of the landing in that. Once you got in, though, it was a gorgeous city. Instead of taking the Grand Ascensor, you guys decided to take the long way around because Sen believed that Ilvasar required a little workout from his legs. So, they were a bit too twiggy for Sen's liking. And you guys headed up the long way, which are these switchbacks that kind of go up and down on each side of the Grand Ascensor. As the Grand Ascensor is going up with its blinders on either side, you see these switchbacks going up through the streets until you get through the residential district and into the market district, and it does the same thing going up until you get to the nobles district. There you guys were stopped at the nobles district. You guys were not allowed to go through unless you had official business. It was shown that you did, and you guys pushed through and up to the main palace. You noticed as you looked back that the people in the nobles district and the people in the market district could not see the districts below because of the blinders. When you got to the palace, they brought you in. The major domo said they were expecting you. They received the letter from the alderman of Huria, and were expecting you. Brought you to your rooms, which was on a upper floor. You guys had one common room that was very extravagant with a bunch of rooms off to the side. And there you guys discussed what you were going to do with the case going forward. The Majordomo came back and asked if Sen wanted representation. Sen said that she would represent herself and added that co-counsel would be David. So, after a while, they came and they got you. They brought you back into the courtroom. You and David took your seats. Ilvasar was there. There's the dais up front that has all the Garants. They introduced themselves. Each Garant, one from each area of Lithania, Serkanto, Ere, Lithania proper, and Arkadash, as well as a seat for the High Elves of Ashani Graal, which are bordering Lithania, and a seat for the first ambassador of Uzlium. Outside of the council, there were two others there, the Emperor's children. Agessa, who is the Empress apparent. You guys saw her in her plate mail, very resplendent mail, and she's scarred on her face. You kind of got the idea that she knows battle. She's quite tall and beefy woman who wears the armor very well and has a very stern look on her face. You also saw the other son, or the other child, who was the son of Hakem II.
Who may he be? We will find out soon.
Indeed.
Nexus.
Uncas. Who is there to observe and to learn. And you also notice a couple of familiar faces there as well. You guys saw in the crowd that was gathered there, you saw Captain Lila Thorell of the Angel's Valor, who you guys have not seen since, well, Akupara. After the Frostworms came in and basically absconded with her back to Lithania. You also saw Zanzer, and you saw good old Sam Smythe, appropriately looking like he had shaved his bits
Posterior.
bump, his posterior.
His glutes.
Yeah, he was looking good.
Working those assless chaps.
Yeah, turn around. Boy, you like that.
It's Corey. He has to look good.
So
Sit
you
down.
saw them. You make me a quick perception check,
Ew.
Natrix.
Oh man, not too perceptive apparently. Sorry, I'm looking at my modifier real quick.
It's okay.
Total is 14.
14. You notice a certain one-eyed older gentleman that's there with a patch over his eye and of gray, short beard there and gray hair. You recognize Spymaster Grimbold. Kind of hiding out in the back there behind everyone else.
Interesting.
You came in, they read the charges against you, and we're going to amend some of that. I read a couple of charges, there are a couple more. So we will say that
What's everybody's alibi?
I don't even know her.
the charges, as stated, are dissension, impersonation of noble blood, stolen goods, unauthorized emigration of Uzlium, or from Uzlium, and assault leading to a grievous injury of a Frostorm. So that's where we're going to pick it up just before opening statements. As the trial of Sen of Uzlium begins.
Dun dun.
Dun dun.
Doors kick in, walk in with briefcase. Dun 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 dun.
Made him in a suit.
Your honors.
Suit of armor.
I cannot take this off.
So the first thing that we're gonna do is before the opening statements, we're gonna start right in with Emperor Hakem Novinko II holding up his hand. Wait. We will tell you the format of these proceedings first. The rules of this courtroom. First and foremost, there will be no magic used in this trial. You will succeed on the strength of your argument, and that alone. As he looks right at you, Sen, and looks back to Ilvasar, and that goes for you as well. No zones of truth, no charm person, no mind reading. This will be a fair trial. First, we will go with opening statements, and then the prosecution will make their case. During that time, witnesses will be called. Now, the defense will have the opportunity to question and cross-examine the witnesses that the prosecution calls. Then we will have a recess, and then we will have a recess, and the defense will get to make their case, as the prosecution will get to cross-examine those witnesses as well. Then the council will deliberate and ask questions of both sides to help me make my decision. The council are here to advise and to get to the truth, but the decision is mine. It kind of sits up straight and looks down at you guys. With that, we will begin. Mr. Prosecutor, as he points over to Ylvasar. This bald man with half-elven ears. Says, and piercing blue eyes. Says, members of this distinguished court, there is really only one issue here at play. Sen is a citizen of Uzlium. She should be remanded back into the care of Uzlium. She left before she graduated from the college at Uzlium and before completing her exit exams. It is Uzlium law that no mage shall be considered a true mage and allowed to leave Uzlium before they have completed their work at the college. Furthermore, Sen impersonated a member of noble blood to escape Uzlium. She lied. She misrepresented, all to get her way. Now this sounds like the acts of a dissenter to me, for all dissenters lie. It is in their nature. As such, I shall prove that Sen is a dissenter. But not only that, Sen is young, inexperienced, selfish, and a danger to herself and others. She stole Uzlium property that was recovered from her person upon capture. And once she was caught in her escape, she resisted arrest and fled, which led to the dismemberment of a frostworm captain. Then upon escaping Uzlium, Sen has brought about nothing but chaos and death. How many bodies were left in the wake of Sen on Akupara? And since then, she has been tied to the deaths of Lithanian citizens, both mercenaries and priests of Farlongen. Death seems to come to those around her. And though I cannot prove that she is directly responsible for those deaths, I will prove that she is directly responsible for one death. I move to include the charge of murder of one Victoria Timothy of Karama, Your Honor. And I will prove this fact and all the others charged herein. Sen has shown she cares not for Uzlium laws. She cares not for Lithanian citizens or anyone but herself. For the protection of all peoples, including citizens of the Lithanian Empire, Sen must be immediately remanded back to Uzlium for corrective behavioral measures in accordance with Uzlium's high mandate and laws. And he sits down. Hakem looks over, says, "And you are prepared to prove your charge of murder?" "Yes, Your Excellence." "Very well. Let the record show that son of Uzlium is now charged with the murder of an innocent." Your opening statement.
Anybody got any water? I will stand and just place my hands on the table. Distinguished members of the council, the charges brought by the prosecution is false. By no means, in the largest sense, am I a dissenter. I left Uzlium under prescribed guidance, and since having left, have learned infinitely more than what I could have ever learned in the college. When I go back to Uzlium, the knowledge and things that I have learned out in the world will prove that by no means was it a meaning of dissent, but rather a gathering of knowledge and experiences to help bolster the community that is Uzlium. In my leaving, there were accidents that happened that, as we go on today, will be proven as accidents of circumstance rather than intentional misdemeanors. And on the subject of murder, I find that Ilvesar brings up a false claim and will be unable to prove that I was involved in the murder of one
Victoria Timothy.
Victoria Timothy. Again, it will be on him to prove so, but I will also find that I myself will be able to prove that I was uninvolved in one murder of one Victoria Timothy. Looks over to David. Is that all the charges? Did I get them all?
I think we're good. We'll be fine.
Okay. Thank you all so very much. And sit.
Well put on both sides. And now the prosecution must make its case. Okay, I kind of talked to you guys a little bit about this beforehand, but if you guys over here want to kind of discuss a little bit of strategy during the case, you can, and you have to figure out how to implement that strategy. So that's up to you. If you have something that you want while we're doing this to talk about, let me know. I can stop what we're currently doing. We can go to that interaction and then pick it right back up. Okay? Okay. Ilvasar stands up. Sen is not ready to leave Uzlium. No matter what words she may have said in her opening statement about what she has learned. We will figure out what she has done. All mages, all of them are dangerous and capable of chaos and destruction beyond anything that you can imagine. That is why Uzlium exists. To temper mages and ensure they are acting accordingly. The prevention of a second sundering is what we seek. To do this, all mages must go through the college at Uzlium. My first piece of evidence, I would like to ask the defendant to stand before us. Sen, please.
Sure. Stand and move to a center portion.
Sen, would you do us the service of showing the court your Uzlium brand?
That would require a bit of disrobing, and I am unsure if that would be appropriate in...
I believe it is on your back right shoulder blade. Yes.
Yes, between the two.
Yes. Very, very good. I asked the council to have Sen show us her brand. And David is kind of like looking at you like, and the council comes and looks over, and you see the first ambassador and Hakem speaking. We shall allow it. In this instance, we can use some magic. And the first ambassador waves his hands, and then a partition kind of surrounds Sen.
Mm-hmm.
You are free to get presentable.
If I may ask, Ivisar, you're making the argument, like over the partition.
Yeah.
You are making the argument that magic is dangerous. I would like to ask what my brand has any association to do with that.
I promise the council that you will see. I am making many arguments. All mages are dangerous, council, and this mage is of Uzlium. My point here is showing the council, in fact, that you are Sen, and you are of Uzlium. Your brand, please.
We'll flip. Oh, lots of layers, excuse me for one moment. Flip over the little half cloak, just like, and then roll up the back of the shirt.
Are you ready?
It's between the shoulder blades. It's a little hard to reach.
You're right now behind the partition, so they're asking if you're ready to. Go.
I think it's high enough. I think.
And then a small part of the partition goes away, showing your back.
Mm-hmm.
Let the record show that Sen is an Uzlium citizen. Thank you. You can have a seat as the partition disappears.
Takes a seat.
A citizen of Uzlium's sovereignty and therefore subject to Uzlium laws. This is the only point that matters in this case. Everything else that I will prove about Sen is in excess. For this reason alone, Sen should be remanded back. Sen did not complete college. Sen is a citizen of Uzlium. Therefore, Sen must go back to Uzlium. To understand this point, the prosecution will call its first witness. The very person that found Sen, brought her to Uzlium, and taught her at the college. I call Master Alan Ricksham. And you see as someone steps up, this kind of older gentleman, kind of a bent nose here, but looking very aloof, steps up and comes up to the stand. And Hakem says, "You swear to tell the truth?" And he says, "Yeah, I will tell the truth about this one." He sits up there and just kind of eyes Sen.
Give him a little finger wave.
Ilvasar says, "Master Ricksham, you serve at the Uzlium College, yes? Yes, I am a teacher there. And you met Sen where?" "I met Sen on the streets of Berkshire. You see, she was doing the parlor tricks for peoples." "What kind of parlor tricks?" "Well, mainly sleight of hand for the gullible, trying to make what coin she could. But in Berkshire, they would not recognize real magic, as they have very little there. But we saw it. We saw the illusions that Sen was creating. And why then did you bring Sen back to Uzlium?" "Well, she was already doing the magic, so it was better if she learned it in Uzlium. You see, a person who is doing magic unchecked will become a free mage. This is what they do. And dissenters, they can be real problems. So, we brought her back to save her and save everyone from the fate of her becoming a free mage. For she was already doing it." He says, "Let the record show that Sen was already involved in dissenter activity prior to Uzlium stepping in. And if Uzlium had not, she would have continued. Now tell me, Master, what was Sen like at school?" "Well, she was very arrogant. She did not have the time or the discipline to do very good magic. In fact, I teach evocation, where Sen would always fall short. I, of course, would give her as much support as she needed, practice again and again and again, but always she failed. And then she would do other magics and try and show me that she was good at them, but she lacks discipline." So, in your professional opinion, is Sen ready to graduate and leave the college at Uzlium? No, of course not. Sen is too wild and knows too little discipline, especially if she's going to be representing the Mage Nation outside. No, I believe she needs more years at the college before joining the world. That's all I needed to hear. Thank you, Master Ricksham. No further questions. You have the opportunity to cross-examine Sen of Uzlium.
Looks to David. What?
You can ask questions of Ricksham if you want.
So I don't just get to call him
You shouldn't do that. It's not proper.
because discipline. Showing that right now, Your Honor. Yes, I would like to cross-examine.
Please.
While that's happening, I
Yeah.
just want to be leaning into Natrix and going, "What is college?"
What is college? And then you shrug.
Yeah, I'm just like,
You look over to me, and my jaw is still agape from the charges they listed at the very beginning. And you can see my chest kind of like breathing like heavily.
Maya says it is a school. It is what mages have to go through to learn.
You have to go somewhere to learn things.
We? And it is where we do the indoctrination.
Druids, we just do that. You don't just do that.
No?
Do you have a place? All right, but Uzlium gets stranger and stranger all the time.
You go to the step up.
Professor, it is good to see you again.
It is good that you are back here and will soon be in Uzlium to continue your studies.
You can say you missed me too. It has been about 6 months since the time that I left Uzlium. Professor, when you found me, it is almost 6 years now. What do you remember about that day? What state was I in?
Well, I seem to recall that you've, you've thin,
Mhm.
you've, I would say, malnourished, surviving on the streets, is what I would say, and not well.
I was still surviving, but we can debate on semantics. Would you say then that in one state that it is possible that I have been on the streets of Berkshire for my entire life?
I think that this is very possible, judging from how thin you were,
Mm-hmm.
particularly your legs.
Oh, yes, thank you. It is a very personal goal of mine to ensure they are not very, what is the word? Twiggy, as I turn to Elvis.
Laughing all the
snickering.
So, you said yourself that Berkshire, it does not have a lot of magic.
That is correct. They have a different way of doing things. They're more mechanically minded.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to rely on the power of magic, instead of relying on their intellect.
And therefore, the mages of Berkshire, would you say they would be in similar environment, situations, and places that I would be in?
The mages of Berkshire are few, and we were there for one in particular, actually, not even there for you. We we just happen to see you. It's someone who is doing magic and they shouldn't be, and the frostworms brings them in, or in this case, there was the heir to the Landrasavi family that we were there for.
Yes, yes. So, as you said, heir to the Landrasavi family. Is it then possible that one such as myself, living as I do, surviving as I do, would find myself in contact with Uzlium? Or just the generalities of magic systems in the world?
Well, even though Berkshire doesn't have a lot of magic, sometimes there are free mages that will hide out there, and usually we handle that with the frostworms, as it is very dangerous not to have eyes everywhere. So, usually we would find less than reputable peoples in Berkshire practicing magic.
Less than reputable. But that is not your job. It is. You were scouting for the college, yes?
Yes, that's where that we were.
And as Ilvasa mentioned, I was already part of dissenter activity within Berkshire, yes?
That is correct.
If I am unfamiliar with the situation of how magic is ruled in this world, as I am focusing more on surviving and apparently not doing it very well,
This is true.
can I call myself a dissenter if I do not even know what that means?
Well, that is a question that's a bit bigger than this court. You would have to take that up with the Archmage Council. You see, if you are found in Uzlium to be doing magic without their tutelage, you are considered, therefore, a dissenter. And usually we handle this by bringing them back and teaching them and giving them a much better life than they would have previously. But not always, you know. So we take care of our citizens and we bring people into the fold and make their lives better, is what we do. So even though you did not know that you were a dissenter, I would say that you were brought to Uzlium so that you would not turn into one.
Very good. Well, I was not aware. I was not involved in such illicit activities.
Well, we saw you performing some magic, and so we remedied the situation. And if you remember, it was your choice to come with us.
Yes.
You did choose.
I did choose to go to Uzlium to better understand and learn to control my magic. And so prior to that, high members of the court, the situation I was in would not dictate knowledgeable and conscientious illicit dissenter affairs. No more further questions.
Yes. I would just like to say one more thing, that your illusion magic was very good, but I would have liked you to have worked a bit harder while you were at the college, and I look forward to having you back.
Well, we do not all have, some of us cannot do the wide range of magics, and something as destructive as evocation magic sometimes comes a little bit harder to others.
Well, should just study more. All right, you may step down.
Shape water. Is there water?
Why don't you make a persuasion roll with that argument?
Cue the battle music. But the
Oh,
courtroom.
this is Uzo. I don't want Uzo. Oh, well, maybe I do want Uzo. It's +5.
Yeah.
Sweet Jesus.
Persuasion real good.
He persuade real goods. 18 plus.
Hey, I'm the snake.
Did you hear that tongue flip?
I'm gonna. What is a professor?
It's like someone at a temple
Come on, love.
that teaches you things. The main person at a temple that teaches the rest.
Okay, yeah, right.
What was your question?
We've got, okay. Okay, we've got one of those, I suppose.
It's over 20. Because charisma's +3, and I don't know if I'm proficient in it.
It's over
So it's either
9,000.
21 or 24.
Okay. Okay. You see and you look up as several of the members are kind of nodding at what you said.
Go under the table, try and give David a fist bump if he'll take it.
Right there. Well done. Ilvasar stands back up.
Okay, so 24.
24, yeah. Ilvasar stands back up and says, "The next witness I will call is also from the Uzlium College, Master Dauphine." And you see this this woman, kind of gray hair, graying. You see kind of the blonde bits that are still kind of fading to that gray in some parts, but mostly gray hair. A dwarf kind of stand up in Uzlium regalia and head up to the stand. Says, "Now, Master Dauphine, you are also a teacher, a professor at the college?" "I am." "And, we've already discussed what Sen was like during school. I'd like to ask you about another matter. Let's talk about the events that led to Sen's escape of Uzlium. What was her curriculum like at the time?" "Well, she had been working with actually blade singing, a blade song master, the last one that we had at Uzlium. She was chosen to succeed him. It's actually quite prestigious, and it's because of the potential that we saw in Sen. Maybe she wasn't very good at evocation, but this was different. She had spirit. And Master Lausian, the blade singing master, chose her personally to succeed him at Uzlium. And during this training, Sen was lent 2 daggers. Is that correct?" "Aye, it is. They were Master Lausian's and they were to be Sen's, but they weren't yet." "And would you recognize those daggers if you saw them?" "Aye, I would." And he goes back to the table and puts 2 daggers right here. "Are these the daggers that Sen was using?" "Aye, those are them. And I found these daggers on Sen's person upon her capture. She was found in possession of stolen Uzlium property, and it seems the more we find out about her, the more of a dissenter we see. Stolen Uzlium property, stolen magical weapons. These are the acts of free mages and dissenters, much like the lies that she tells. I have nothing more for this witness." You got this one.
Just like the last one, I will think of it as I go. Stand up, hey, Professor. It's very good to see you.
Why, it's good to see you as well, Sim. I have worried many a day about you.
See, Riksham, that is how you say hello to a student you haven't seen in 6 months.
At that point, Ilvasar goes, objection!
I don't understand trials, but I think it's going well.
It's Ilvisa, so uptight. You got to chill, all right?
You will
Just let
address
me-
your comments to the witness.
Certainly, certainly. I'm still learning your court system as we go.
That does, something tells me that's not a good sign, what he just said.
Professor Darwin, do you recognize where these daggers they make their origin?
No, I can't say I do. They're not of Uzlium make. They're Master Lausian had said that they were likely from the Hidden Isle,
Mm-hmm.
known as Shangdi.
Mm. Okay. So if these are from Shangdi and not from of Uzlium make, is it possible that the rules of magic that apply to these are slightly out of the purview of Uzlium?
I cannot say. It's not for me to say. That's for the Uzlium courts.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could give my own opinion, they were Master Lausians, and he died, leaving them to you. I was to hold on to them until you had come into your own.
Okay. And since the understanding of such magics here is, for you, undetermined, and for, I'm assuming, many others to be undetermined as well due to their origin, is the way that I came about them possibly without needing to have stolen them? They just came into my possession.
I couldn't say. In fact, I kept them in my safe,
Mm-hmm.
in my room, that was hidden away. And I'd say the way that you came about them was not the proper way, that it should have been done.
If I may show the court something in regards to these daggers, I will not draw them.
I will allow it, as Hakam gestures.
I will step over a distance away, 30 feet away, and just hold out my hands until they bamf.
One or both?
One.
One. Right into Sen's hand. In front of everyone. Oh. Everyone kind of gasps.
As you can see, there is a slight magical essence as it transports from one hand to the other, from one space to another. What triggers these things, who's to say? But as far as it is concerned, these daggers
Second one goes.
do belong to me. And sometimes they have their own minds. They travel as they wish. That is all. Would you like these, Ilvasar? Would you like these?
Ilvasar comes up and takes them, glares at you.
You know they're not as intimidating without the red eyes.
Goes back and sits down. Do you have any further questions for this witness, young girl?
Master Dauphine, I came and spoke to you the time before I left about expressing interest in a particular field. Do you remember what that was?
I do. You were talking that you wanted to join the diplomat corps.
Yes. And do you remember the reasonings behind that?
Right, you wanted to establish a Uzlium presence on Shangdi.
Yes.
You wanted to be the ambassador
Mm-hmm.
to bring the people of Shangdi and Uzlium together.
Yes, and that I thought is a very reasonable not expectation, but request, given my appearance as well as my ties to Uzlium. I assumed that it would have been a worthy venture. And is there a presence of Uzlium on Shangdi?
To this time, Uzlium has not been able to locate it.
And yet there are people like me and a few out there who have made their way outside of Uzlium, and yet Uzlium had one of Shangdi in their midst. So I guess what I ask is, in your opinion, would a person from a place be a reliable, strong choice to be a diplomat of two?
I think that it would have helped bridge the gap between our nation and theirs.
And would you say the intention was to create a further bonding of the world that Uzlium is a part of?
Aye, that's fair.
And it was in looking for connection and for establishing relationships and for establishing friendship.
And as I'm sure they want to establish Uzlium oversight as well,
Mm-hmm. In the interest of Uzlium.
and the world.
Mm-hmm.
Uzlium's interests are the world's interests.
And if there is a part of the world that is not under Uzlium, with Uzlium, if someone is trying to establish connection, would you say that person is with Uzlium?
One would hope.
No further questions.
Ilvasar stands back up. Oh no, David actually stands up and comes up to you and goes, I've got something.
Yeah. Okay. Tap him in.
David comes up, and well, no, he goes up and says, I've got something to you, and says, but we'll present it in our case. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so they sit down after you converse, and Ilvasar dismisses her, and she goes back down.
I look over to the peanut gallery and I'm like, thumbs up.
Very happily, thumbs up.
Kind of confused face, but also giving a very good thumbs up.
I'm gonna
Roll your persuasion
reach
check.
around. I don't know how close Mayhem is, but just reach around and smack him. Like, "Come on, thumbs up."
Be supportive, damn it!
Oh!
Oh,
What is
can we do it?
Yeah,
Do
What?
the thing.
Yeah.
what is
Do the thing.
Is it a nat one?
No, it's
No.
not that one, but it's just.
Yeah. You go.
Thing?
Go.
Do it.
Go.
thing?
Is that just the one? Not two? Oh, there it is.
Other thing.
Percent's argument.
Oh,
Aw, Jeebus.
balls.
Mm.
meant to be.
11.
11. So after they're watching you after you said this to them, they're just kind of like, taking it into account. One is whispering to the other, kind of shaking their head.
Because that was pure bullshit.
Wow, don't want this.
The dice knew. So he comes and he goes, Ylvasar comes and says, now, after Sen stole these daggers, she then proceeded to escape, which brought her to the tower, the transportation hub, where she hoped to lie her way through and escape out via a teleportation circle. But there was one problem. She was seen. And when she was seen, she had to think fast or be found out. So what did she do? She told them she was a member of the prestigious Landrasavi family, and not just any member, but the very heir, Bryn Landrasavi herself, who was studying in the same class as Sen. Now, what Sen didn't expect was there was a member of the Frostworms nearby that had dealings with the Landrasavi family of Berkshire. I called to the stand Samwell Whistlegrass, one of the gnomes that was present during this ruse. You see this little gnome, kind of a little mustache coming up. They get a box. sits on the stand.
Little applebacks.
Yeah.
Do they have to do it New York style, really high?
Yeah. It's tiny.
It's actually climbing up your 4 boxes.
He says, Samuel, can you tell me about the first time you saw this girl? As she points to Sen. Says, yes, we were in the tower working on unloading the latest order from the Landrasavi family. And who is we? That would be my brother Roderick and I. And can you tell me what happened? Well, the portal master stopped her and asked for identification. That's when she told him that she was Bryn Landrasavi. And then she threatened me and my brother if we didn't back her up. You see, we were working for the Landrasavi family, and she said that we would lose our jobs. She would tell what she said was her mother, Mistress Landrasavi, and we get fired. So yeah, and I will just mute that. And he goes, that's hardly becoming of a true mage, but, as we've seen, not very surprising considering the source, as he gestures again to Sen. And so what did you do? Well, I didn't want to be fired, and I didn't know what the young Bryn looks like, so I thought the best response was to agree. But then someone that knew what Bryn looked like did appear. Yes, sir. The nearby Frostworm recognized the lie and intervened. The defendant then ran, and I didn't see what happened next. Oh, don't worry. I'll fill you in. She decided she would try to escape from being rightfully detained and ran. She found an active portal as the Frostworm gave chase. And as she jumped into the portal, it closed, severing that Frostworm's arm. And in a flourish, he unbuckles the leather cap that had been on his arm to that point and throws it off, severing my arm. And you see just 2 fingers kind of regrowing, one smaller than the other. These 2 fingers completely gone, but most of the arm from here has started to regrow. And he's missing 3 more fingers, but you can see little bone starting to protrude out of the area where it's growing back.
Oh my
And
god.
It's nasty.
everyone in the courtroom kind of looks at it and gasps and murmurs.
It's kind of gross. It's a little gross.
And then,
That's my
while everyone is looking at that, he's holding it there and says, "Had Sen not attempted escape, had she not fled custody, had she not been a selfish dissenter, I would be whole now. And the world would be a safer place." Grabs it, puts it back on. "No further questions."
Sure, yeah. Can't follow out that flourish. That's strong showmanship, sir. Samuel, how long were you in the employ of the Landrasavi family?
About 2 years.
2 years. Do you know what Mistress Landrasavi looks like?
I too?
Could you describe her to the court for me?
She's tall. She has, kind of dirty blonde hair. An air about her. Commanding.
Mm-hmm.
Same air that I noticed in you when you were threatening us.
Could you further describe her physical appearance beyond, you said dirty blonde hair, what type of hair?
It's, wee bit curly.
Curly. Her skin color?
It's a pinkish flesh tone.
Pinkish flesh tone. And the color of her eyes?
I don't remember.
Do you remember what race Miss Landrasavi is?
Don't.
Do you know much, Samuel?
I don't understand the question.
What I'm trying to say is, high members of the court, Samuel Whistlegrass here, while has some vague recollection of who Miss Landrasavi is able to describe someone who could not bear similarities to me. So is it not on the failing of you and your brother of not knowing who you are employed by that you were mistaken in who I was?
We didn't want to be fired, and you seem to talk with the same air that she does. Command authority. I mean, yes, it was our bad to vouch for you. We admit that. But I don't think that you should have been lying in the first place.
No further questions.
Gonna roll a persuasion at disadvantage on that one.
I don't know how to fucking do the whistle
You're
breath.
doing great. Are you kidding?
Fucking A, man.
Again, you don't have to cross every single person, right? You don't have to cross-examine every single person if you don't want to.
Oh, fucking A. Okay, that's a 23, and that's a nat 20, but 23.
It was meant to be.
We can't take.
I love the dice were like, you know what? That other argument was bullshit. Let's give him this one.
So they
They're very fair.
They look back, and there's some, as you look, that are kind of like, she shouldn't have. But there are others being like, how much can we trust this witness, as well as kind of what you're getting from them.
That was a bad argument, but it worked kind of, sort of. Thank you.
Good job. Good job, Dice.
So he steps down, and
What's this? Is it hot in here?
Ilvasar comes back up and says, "Now, I have painted a picture of who Sen is that is quite damning. I have alleged that she is selfish, dangerous, and not ready to be in Razmore representing Uzlium, much less in some hidden island as the representation of Uzlium. But shall we look at what she has done after her escape? I have been briefed, as we all here have, on the events on the island of Akupara. Many died in the pirates' internal war. In fact, Sen herself was named in the official Karumbit report, gathered by the illustrious Agent 3. As consorting with pirates, and her involvement in this incident is well documented. But it wasn't until this council decided to vet Sen and her companions that she came back on my radar. After leaving Akupara in the wake of the battle where many lost their lives, Sen and her party, as he points to the rest of you.
Can people hear my gulp?
Yeah. Very much.
Echoes.
Oh my gosh, Lithanian Council rave.
You just like shoot
Arkham stands up, brave break.
Recess, motherfucker!
That's awesome.
We'll now have the mandated rave break. 1 of 3.
Only 3.
Oh, that's
Sorry. Getting back into character. Serious. Sen and her party was associated with the deaths of many mercenaries and 3 priests of Farlongen on the Imperial Trade Highway. Sen, it seems, was becoming more and more of a danger. But finally, Sen made it to Karama here in Lithania, where she was spotted at the Uzlium embassy. Ilvasar gestures to the door, and there's a person there who nods and goes out real quick. She again evaded Frostworm pursuit, and the next morning, I received a call that her body had been found in the wheelhouse at Karama. At that point, the door opens, and you see a long table being rolled in with a sheet over it. It's coming in, and it comes and is presented in front of everyone. When I first arrived, the guard told me the story of someone trying to sneak into the wheelhouse, and so they shot her with an arrow, and she fell from the top of the wheelhouse gate, smashing her face upon the stone below, rips it off. And you see in front of you the smashed, unrecognizable face of a girl that matches the build of Sen. The same hair color. And you see one wound in her, but the face kind of smashed and dented in. As you can see, her face is unrecognizable. I wanted to be sure that this was Sen, so I looked for her brand. He reaches over, turns the body gently as you see the brand where it should be, in between the shoulder blades on the back. I enter this body into the record. Sen of Uzlium forged her brand on this body and made it look as if she was dead. But what you may not know is this. Each brand is imprinted with a memory at the time of the branding. To do this, they have a memory master pull a memory and embed it into the brand. I would like to show the memory that was in this brand to the council. To do that, I must use some magic. The council looks around, nods, and Hakam says, "You are allowed." Thank you. As a font appears very large, and he pulls a vial that he had out of a bag and dumps the contents into this font of water. And you guys see the memory of Sen running through Uzlium, seeing Ilvasar, running up the stairs, looking to one crystal that was dim, that said Ismail above it, and looking around and seeing one that was lit, running through it, hearing behind her the steps of someone pursuing as she opens the door to this open portal and jumps through the portal. As she jumps through, the portal is gone in a flash of white. And as she gets up, she trips over, and there are 3 humans looking at her, looking back at where the portal used to be and looking at her where she tripped. And looking down is the severed arm, armored in the frostworm white and silver armor, laying there. And then the memory disappears. As you can see, this was not the memory that was put into Sen's brand when she came to Uzlium. But this is a memory pulled directly from Sen, placed in the brand of someone she murdered so she could get away from Uzlium justice. These are the acts of dissenters. These are the acts of those that lie and that should not represent Uzlium. The question is, how did she get access to a memory master to implant this memory in the brand? Why did Sen leave Uzlium? And what would spurn her to take these measures? Is she part of a dissenter cell sent to Uzlium to gather information? We already know she was practicing magic before coming to Uzlium. And did she reach out to this terrorist cell to forge her brand and to kill this girl? I do not know the answer to these questions, but Uzlium must get to the bottom of them. What I do know is this: Sen is guilty. Guilty of all the charges brought here, and guilty of murder. He has the body kind of covered up again, and it gets wheeled out, goes around, and sits down. because you notice Spymaster Grimble before, you see him kind of in the back look at Hakem and kind of give him a little signal. Your Honors and council members, the prosecution rests. Goes back and sits down. And that's where we're going to take our break, everyone.
Nice.
So make sure that you're coming back here in about 10 minutes' time to see what Sen comes up with. You got 10 minutes. We'll see you guys in a little bit. And welcome back to Natural One. So, we are about to get to the defense, but before that, we got some bits.
Oh.
From Oswin Pond, all for Natrix, 500 bits. Yes, thank you, Oswin Pond. And Tamago Tora, 500 bits to the DM, because they're guilty. Well, Tamago Tora casts his vote. There
You're
it
not
is,
wrong, but
guilty.
let's see what the law says.
And to do that,
He's not on
Tamago Tora also gives 500 bits to the defense team. There it is.
Because she's guilty.
Balance.
God, she's
She's
guilty.
gonna need all the bits.
What's the bits, please?
I told you I was going to come at you with a strong case here.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah.
Like, it's a solid metal case
Yeah.
right now. That ain't no leather briefcase. That's fucking hidden.
Straight to the back of the head.
Hit you with the football.
Oh, Lucy.
Anyhow, okay, so we're gonna jump right back into it, shall we? Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay. So after that moment, Hakem calls a recess, and you guys are all brought back to your ready room.
Could I have insighted Grimbold on his little, like,
Yes.
signal? I want to see if I can, like, figure out if he's like, yeah. I'm going to roll for that.
Yeah.
I'm so sad!
Wow.
I have great faith in you,
Wow.
even at this moment.
Okay, well, that was pointless. You get a card. And I hate myself.
Yay! Let's be a minus
Dice
10
jail.
on an attack roll, please.
I know, please.
Natural one. It's the name of the show, folks, and that means that she gets a
I don't want to
card.
pick it.
Attack with opportunity.
It already feels bad enough.
Oh, God. I'm sorry.
No.
Fail on a skill check.
No!
Ace.
Oh,
This was your idea!
I love you, though.
Fail on a skill check. With the defenses about to begin, yeah, there are.
I'm sorry, James. I'm sorry. I'll hide under the table
To be
now.
fair, that was a magical moment.
No, that was really,
There
really
will
bad.
only be one more skill check now.
Sen has an aneurysm, as an ulcer. She's
Just
gotta go.
dies.
She can't do it anymore.
Her asthma kicks in and kills her right there.
Okay. Here we go. You guys are led back, and David gets you all in there. He says, "Right, remember, them daggers you got, we got you like official Uzlium paperwork for that back in Austria, yeah? So if they're stolen, how come they got your name on it, yeah?
Yeah.
What you guys think?"
Okay.
I don't understand any of this.
I have a lot of questions.
That covers the stolen part. The assault part, I didn't touch him, so it's not assault.
Yeah.
Had you ever used one of those before?
No.
You didn't know it'd cut his hand off.
Oh, that's good. Right.
Yeah, but the problem is if Sam wasn't running and trying to evade this frostworm, then hand wouldn't be gone.
Well, did he ask her nicely to talk? Or did he just come out all bluster and screaming at her? I
Yes.
would run too, innocent or
I
otherwise.
don't know.
What were the means of him chasing you? Was it just, I'm gonna come get you? Or was it, hey, Sen, come back to Uzlium with me?
It was basically what he did was like, you're going to come with me now, and he went to grab me, and then I moved and ran.
Was it aggressive? Could you argue that it was aggressive?
I mean, have you seen the man?
Yes.
I don't think that he understands how to not be, frankly.
He literally wears a helmet with glowing red eyes.
No, those are cool though.
Yes, it's
but-
cool, but very
But if someone
intimidating.
with glowing red eyes were reaching after me, I would run as well. And I don't know anything.
Why were you running in the first place? Like, other than trying to trick them into the teleportation circle, before that, you wanted to leave in general.
Yes.
Why?
Do you think they could be listening?
I don't know. It could be.
I left Uzlium because I wanted to help Uzlium.
What better way to get practice as a diplomat? Look at the strange array of people that she's run into since leaving.
Do you look like Madalena, by the way, or?
No, I'm a very plain blonde woman.
Okay, right.
Not seductive. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Damn it. Elvisar likes the booty? Question mark.
Matrix, turn around.
Diversion.
Just makes
Think
everything
about the
thicker.
actual argument.
But that doesn't
Right?
hurt.
Since she's left, she has had communication with a dragonborn, right? That's
Who is
something.
an envoy?
Yes.
Of Rao?
Devoutedly, yes.
Yes.
And
And who promotes peace and reason more than peace and reason?
I follow my heart, and also God sometimes. Yes.
and my people have been around since before the Sundoing, before Uzlium. And we have done a very good job of staying out of everyone's business, but you've got me here.
And what is your people called again?
We're the Morakute.
Good day, fucking.
Just refresh my memory. What could they bring up from the Morakute if we mention them? Any?
The Morakute are not involved.
Okay.
No, I just think she's saying that it adds a level of respect to her opinion.
Exactly.
Oh,
I have not been doing not shit, and I have not been murdering mercenaries and Farlongan priests. I have been in the company of one of the Marukute, who has been part of the tribe, who has been on this planet for longer than the Sundering. I am with an envoy of Rao. I am with a mage of Uzlium.
We. But that is a good point.
I am...
I'd rather you did not involve me as well. The outside.
I call Maya to the
You helped
I'll do
rescue
this
me
one.
from pirates. I was kidnapped,
Pirates?
minding my own business, and locked in a tower.
And we stopped the pirate war, and which was made better.
What about Lila?
And Lila, we were able to save her, a respected lieutenant or captain of the
The Angels.
Angels
Valor.
Valor, a Lithuanian fleet. Okay.
The reason I bring that up is because that was an important ship. That's the reason I was sent to Akupara.
Okay.
That ship.
Angels Valor. And we didn't save the cargo, which
But we did the pirates.
we did the pirates, but yeah, we did the pirates. And
Look at how much you've done in 6 months. What has Uzlium done in that amount of time? You're one young girl. Just imagine after you've gotten your feet wet.
They did set you on fire.
They did. That I can.
That was awful.
Yeah, that was very bad.
it was
I feel
terrifying.
like they're a lot more destructive than you are. If that helps.
Can I call
released
Ilvisar to
Naomi.
the stand?
What would you ask him?
Reckless destruction of Uzlium asset.
Oh,
She is a blade master.
Blade
the last
blade
one.
singer
The
Yes.
last
would be much
Don't
more
know.
beneficial.
I don't know if that's going to hold up. I think Uzlium is pretty justified in the force they use generally. Unless
It is unwarranted, which we do have.
we can show a pattern, right? Right, like what happened in Hyria.
Yes, we have the Oni, and they were sent the journal.
Yes,
Like the council already has it, right?
they do.
And Uzlium.
Did
No. Yeah, no, you said that
the
they sent it
aldermen
out.
send it?
That's right, they did, yeah.
So they already have that.
They would know that Uzlium had been involved in each of these situations, had fucked it all up, and that we'd cleaned it up.
And Ilvisar wasn't there to help alleviate the
He was
effects of the
chasing-
Oni. He was solely there to capture you.
Just chasing down a girl. All he could do.
Okay. Yeah. We're doing great, right?
Maybe someone should write this down.
Wait.
We could review.
We need.
Documentation of daggers. I already have that. So, not stolen goods.
Uzlium fucking up.
Uzlium
And then us
fucking up.
cleaning up.
His opening statement was all mages are dangerous, and not just free mages, but also true mages fucked up. So there's a hole.
And what was so dangerous about your illusions? His firewall was clearly much more dangerous than anything you've done.
Right? I'm not very good at evocation, so.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
And isn't that one of the dangerous ones?
It's one of the more destructive ones.
There you go.
Good.
You didn't learn the destructive one, therefore, you're not a dissenter.
You could have lit the whole forest on fire. It'd be absolutely abysmal.
Dangerous. And that forest was filled with
People
people in life.
and plants.
And I was kind of out, but I'm assuming that wall was just there and then gone, and that could have hurt you.
I felt attacked.
None of us knew what was going on at all.
And if you think about this problem, they painted you as possibly a terrorist. We have to address that. We need to know why he left, I think.
I mean, I established that with Dauphine, right?
Did you?
Diplomatic reasons
Oh,
to get better sense.
just that you'd left to go to find this island?
Well, yeah, that and to like get a better sense of the world.
All right. I just don't know if you should have gone through. Don't they have things for that?
Yes, but it would have taken time.
How long? Do you know?
I do not know because Dauphine said I couldn't do it.
You mean you didn't qualify?
No, she just said no. She didn't let me.
So, a poor way to prove yourself, but an attempt to prove yourself nonetheless.
And before we do, we just got rated, guys. By Wizard Rex TV. Welcome to the drama, the courtroom drama. Dun, dun. So we're going to be giving away a Nord deck. Could be this luck deck or a critical hit deck. We are giving away a Nord Games deck right now. Hashtag chaos in the chat to win that deck. And thanks for rating, Wizards. And then stick
deck.
around. Yeah, good luck.
Get that deck.
Okay, going right back to it.
Too many decks on the dance floor.
Too many decks.
Yes. All right. Now I'm done.
Yeah, so establishing me leaving is hard,
Look, if you
justifiable.
said that you went through the appropriate channels to look for leave to practice being a diplomat, yes, they said no, and perhaps you should have waited to go through the appropriate channels, but you've been out for 6 months, and you've had communication. They had a report from the illustrious Agent 3, who you worked with. You were successful in speaking with a member of the Marakute. You have been speaking with a Dragonborn. Clearly, they were wrong not to let you leave.
For diplomatic reasons, because I'm also a friend with a couple private lords.
Well, you have important information that could dethrone pirate lords.
Yes, because I'm not their friend.
That's right. Clearly, they were wrong not to let you go because you've been excellent at it.
I just had a thought. We need to get that part of the story right if we talk about Akupara. And also, he didn't really want us to talk about our involvement in Akupara. What's the story we go with?
Well, I mean, you all rescued me and Zanza, being tortured for weeks, only to discover that there were others in a similar predicament.
My report was very kind to you. I mean, it was the truth, right? You guys came in there. You did best you could. You got Lila Thorell out. You defeated a scourge of the Sanguine Ocean. Long before Akupara was the pirates, it belonged to Lefania, yeah? And it was taken in part by Grand Deadeye.
Who was then out raiding merchant ships, which is how I got captured, so clearly he was less than reputable.
So, we have that. We can bring up the good that was done at Akupara.
Okay. Which of you three would feel comfortable going on the stand?
That was mayhem.
To speak about my impeccable character.
We're not gonna lie.
Oh, don't count on me then.
We can't mention Gran, right?
Why not?
We have to mention what we told the people, the pirates of the island, correct? We told them. Natrix and Maya did that. They ended it.
Still doesn't want credit.
I don't need credit.
Well, that's fine. We don't gotta talk about who did the killing. This group done it, yeah? So,
But
it's alright.
Just don't mention it.
I won't. I'm not going to. I just don't know how. I don't know how
Omission
much.
is not a lie.
They questioned him. They questioned
It
it.
is. I think it's a lie of omission.
No, it's fine. Just omit it. Don't deny it. Omit it.
I'm going to speak from the heart.
Oh God, we're fucked.
You're not fucked, I'm fucked.
I mean,
Well, yes.
he likes Sen.
I
Hope it'll translate.
I've missed you, Sen. I will do anything to give you a chance at a life you want to live. Regardless of anything, I am happy you are alive. I just need to know everything I'm defending. Who was the girl at the wall? The one they brought in.
I flick an eye to David.
Do I notice that?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. So,
Darting back and forth.
Sen needed to disappear. Sen was being chased by false worms. So I did what I had to do. I contacted the Cloak criminal organization here in Ladania. I contracted them. They found some nobody.
Victoria Timothy?
That's right. Look. My mission was getting you guys here. That's what I'm doing. And that's what I done at that time. If you need to put me on the stand, that's what I'll say.
As David Colby or as Agent 3?
I can't wait to see the look on my dad's face when they call Agent 3 and I stand up and go to the stand.
Agent 3 it is. I think our recess is about up.
Yeah, alright. He changes his voice, gets a little proper, and goes, I'm ready when you are.
Certainly, Mr. Colby.
Yes, of course.
Stop doing that. It's creepy.
It's Mr. Colby, Esquire.
Esquire, indeed.
Yes.
Sir.
I'm a lawyer now.
I will be enough.
He's trying to riff with her a bit as they start walking down back towards him.
The biggest of eye rolls at the Esquire. Like whole head eye roll.
You guys are brought back in. And you notice there are now less people in the courtroom than there were before.
Excuse me, council members, where did the audience go?
They kind of look at you and don't say anything, kind of go back to what they were discussing back and forth until Hakem comes in and stands up and holds his hand up. Everyone stops. We have had the court room emptied as some of the material here has come to light. Certain things must be discussed and are for fewer ears. The defense may proceed. They all sit down.
All right. I will stand. Ilvisar over here, before we went to recess, mentioned a situation that transpired in Akupara and how many died while I happened to also be there. I would like to set those events, since Ilvisar himself was not present and can only speculate at the events that did actually transpire. So I would like to bring a couple people who can speak onto the legitimacy of what I did there.
Proceed.
First witness I would like to call up would be Captain Lila Thorell of the now sunken Angel's Valor.
So be it. And she stands up and smiles at you just briefly and walks up to the stand. I'm Captain Lila Thorell, Captain of the Angel's Valor. It's good to see you, son.
Good to see you too, Captain. Explain your relationship to the defense, please.
The defendant was on my ship, the Angel's Valor, as a passenger, had purchased passage to Ismail. Had purchased that passage through my first officer, Alistair Colby. There's a hush in the room, like it goes dead silent. The only thing you hear is like chairs move a little bit as people kind of look at Alistair Colby Sr., who is on the council and sitting very stoically, and then his eyes are just tightening. You can see his grip tightening. Clearly this is still a sore subject for him. And she was just a passenger. Sen was. Until one night we were attacked by pirates. Alistair saw the boarding parties come on and roused everyone awake. The passengers participated in the battle. What I am told from my first officer is that they performed admirably, Sen among them. She represented herself well and fought off a pirate scourge that would have taken the ship, a ship which was on a very important mission. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
After that, well, there was the sinking of the ship. And the defendant then rescued me with the rest of her party. She rescued me. I had been washed up on shore of an island that was not charted. There were pirates there as well, took me captive. And through the actions of this person and the rest of their party, they rescued me, kept me alive, so that I could come back and report to this council.
Thank you for that. For answering the question. After that moment of rescuing you on the island, we found ourselves to be further in the company of pirates on the island of Akupara.
That is correct. It was a particularly dangerous situation for myself.
Especially since Akupara itself used to be within the holds of the Litanian Empire, yes?
That's right. It was an installation. It gave them strategic advantage in the South Seas.
And as it was lost to the pirates of Akupara, who was one of the people, to your recollection, that dismantled the Litanian hold on the island?
Well, there were several people involved. There is, of course, Captain Gale, Pirate Lord. He joined forces with Captains Omnia, Hathaway, and Captain Grand Deadeye.
Mm-hmm.
And together they performed a strategy that took the island, with Captain Deadeye sinking a number of our ships in the process.
Yes. And to that, I would like to point out that Grand Deadeye, in further situations on Akupara, you were present when his death came, yes?
I was there the day he died.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see it myself, but I have read the report from Agent 3.
Yes. And of who in that report ended the scourge of the Sanguine Ocean?
Grand Deadeye's death came at the hands of this party, as you see them here, including, as I hear this one points to Rhea. It was you all who infiltrated the keep and ended up saving many more lives by ending the battle fast.
Mhm.
And also taking out one of the most infamous pirates Sanguine Ocean has ever seen.
Mhm. And in that report, I was the defendant. Excuse me, for terminology's sake. The defendant was sieging the keep at this point in this battle, yes?
Yes.
And so the larger portion of violence during this siege was transpiring elsewhere?
It was. It was at the gates of the keep,
Mm-hmm.
while the smaller team went in. As the report stated, it was Gale's strategy that led us to distract the enemy while you went in and ended the battle.
And in that feud between pirates and pirates, was there another third party who aided in the battle and in the rising number of deaths?
Yes, actually, the Frostworms of Uzlium showed up into the battle. They did whisk me away to safety, but not before calling down several meteors and throwing several lightning bolts into the fray. The force was impressive and terrifying.
Yes. And you are safe back here in Latanya City.
I am, thanks to both Uzlium and particularly to all of you.
All right. No further questions.
Ilsar gets up, comes over. You, Captain, had lost your first mate. You had lost your whole ship. Everyone died. Seems to me like you as well have been struck by the bad luck of Sen being around you. I am sorry for your loss. On Okupara, what did Uzlium do? Well, they came in, as I said, and they cast a large amount of spells at the forces and took me and left. So, what you're saying is that you were here because of Uzlium. Yes, but I think it's important to note that I also would not be here without the defendant and the action she took. I would go further to say that should an Uzlium mage have acted in a similar way as opposed to a runaway Uzlium mage, I would have been proud to have an Uzlium mage on board. He just kind of stops and looks back. He goes, no further questions. He goes and sits.
Another fist bump to David.
Who's?
Your next witness. As she gets up and goes down and sits, gives you guys another smile.
Again, Ilvisar has called into question the character of not just who I am, but of who I am associated with, claiming that I may be part of a terrorist organization with nefarious plots to, I don't know, devolve, destroy the hold Uzlium has elsewhere beyond itself. To that I say that is false, and calls into question the people that I have been traveling with. One of them, I would like to mention, is an envoy of Rao.
As everyone kind of looks at you, and there's a couple of murmurs as well, as you see the council talking to each other and Hakem looking at you with a bit of a smile and a kind of a quizzical brow smirk thing going.
I'm like kind of like staring a little intently, like, and hands still, prayer-esque, but give. I think I'll stand, and then I will give a,
Yeah.
respect, bow. You know what I mean?
He nods back.
I would like to call Mayhem Jiro, envoy of Rao, to the stand, please.
Excuse me. Just real quick. Like, yeah. It's not graceful.
Tail on someone's face.
Please. To excuse me.
You do get through
Yeah.
after that, and nobody's talking during that thing. It's just everyone's hearing everything you're doing.
All the echoes.
Yeah. So sorry. You hear the clicking of like my talons on the ground.
Yeah,
It's all creaking,
it
squeaking.
creaks, yeah.
Mayhem Jiro. Please describe your relationship to Rao to the court, please.
Thank you, dear Sen. I am Mayhem Zoro. I am a dragonborn paladin. And my relationship with Rao is that I found a new home away from my old home. I was venturing and I've stumbled upon a high priest near Kirkenham. And he showed me such kindness and warmth. Even though I am who I am, and I understand that. But he introduced me to Rao and his teachings. He brought me back to his temple. And he taught me that Rao is about nothing more than peace and reason. And it has been hard to follow that path ever since I've left that temple. But I do it earnestly. And I will keep trying again and again, no matter what darkness I see. My connection to Rao is that I am his envoy.
And would the defense pardon a brief question from myself?
Oh, certainly, Your Grace.
Thank you. Mayhem Jiro. I am a devout believer in peace and reason. My father united these lands, and under Rao's watchful guidance, I have kept it peaceful and ensured that reason is followed to make decisions. I would like to know where you got that armor.
Oh, This new thing. Read it in a book once. This set of armor I received from the temple in Karma.
He looks at you just dead straight.
In my travels, I stumbled upon it with this group.
Stumbled?
Well, a part of the test, as I was told, is that I was not supposed to know I was even in a journey on the way to take it. But,
So you did take the armor of the envoy.
I did.
Legendary paladin of Rao.
He waits a little too long now, just to be... yes, I did. I took the test. Not entirely alone, but I fought hard, and I was given the strength, and I gave all of the strength I had, and I came out shining.
What do you mean not alone?
Well, the tests required me to step in the place of the old paladin, priest, of Ra, envoy of Ra, during the
Trial?
yes, no, during the when it actually happened. Yeah, the battle at
Battle of Karma.
Mother. Yes, that battle of Karma, and I was in his place, and I defended Karma as best I could. But there were times where I could have been overwhelmed, and I was near death. But I was given a gift. The priest there, I was allowed to be given help if ever I needed it, and if anybody wanted to offer it.
And your friends helped you.
Not everyone, but,
Oh?
well, the ones that did was Sen. Shit! Oh, I forgot. I thought you didn't put a hand there. No, you didn't. You were
Nope.
tired. We were running. Oh,
You just lied, right? Did you just lie?
I wasn't trying to.
As
far as you
He
knew.
would have remembered.
I was like,
So I'll let you
I wasn't. No.
for me, I was like, oh, dude.
I want to rewind before the not all of us did part.
No.
Oh,
Not that far back.
fair enough. Oh. Oh shit.
I'm just snickering in the back.
Just elbows Natrix.
Well, I think I have interrupted your defense long enough. Thank you.
There's no interruption. Well, through the Emperor's curiosity, we got to my other question about where your armor is from. Allow me to check my notes for one moment. Goes back to the table, looks at notes.
Nervous tick.
All professional there.
Yes. The prosecution mentioned, again, in my long streak of bad luck, in quotes, please make that noted as quotes, bad luck.
Air quotes.
Who is she talking to? What are quotes?
That there were deaths of mercenaries and priests of Farlongans. While that unfortunate situation did happen to cross by our paths, would you be able to illuminate for the court the situation at which was actually at play during that event?
I would love nothing more. The Forlongen, as we met them on our journey, they were camping nearby. They were wonderful people. They told us a lot about their culture and their religion, and we bonded with them. But their death is not on our hands. I would have done anything to protect them. But by the time we got to their camp, it was too late. It had been, I believe, raiders, bandits, I believe, in the night. Yeah, yes.
Mercenaries were hired to kill them.
Mercenaries, yes. Did you send message to me?
I don't have message.
Ah, fuck. All right.
Did you whisper that
You
to
got it from Maya. Maya sent message to you.
It's like, yes, mercenaries were completely hired to kill the Forlongen. And they had stricken their camp before they even knew we were there. We heard their screams, though. It was terrible. The only thing the Forlongen left to us before that was this. And I'll show them the medallion they gave me.
They see there the symbol of Farlongen on there. It's very impressive. It still kind of has a little bit of a sheen to it, and they just kind of.
They gave this to me before that night.
You.
Son of a... No, wait, how after if they're all dead?
So if you remember, they were all dead. You guys burned them, brought the ashes back to the temple in Karma, and they gave you.
It's like a lost and found reward.
Yep, yeah. Okay, another message. I mean...
But it's because you guys had returned that.
yeah. All right.
David did that.
We, as a group, decided to return the ashes to the, once we knew how to appropriately bury the Forlongen people. Once cremated, we sent them, we sent their ashes to the nearest temple we could find, and in return, that's what they offered. And I like to believe the spirit of the Forlongen have been protecting us ever since with this medallion. It wakes me up out of nowhere. And it has only saved us since.
Yes. No further questions.
Ilvasar.
He was about to get up.
Ilvasar comes, steps forward. Your name is Mayhem Giroux.
Yes, but to people who don't know me, it's, any name, really, if you're comfortable, Mayhem or Zero, or Mayhem Giroux, or Zero, or Mayhem Giroux, or Mayhem Jaru, or Mayhem Gyro, which is like a sandwich.
Yes, no, that's enough. Thank you, Mayhem. I think we all will call you Mayhem from here on out. Mayhem. You were on Akupara.
This is true, yes.
Yes. What did you think of that island?
It gets like a 1,000-yard stare. I think that island opened my eyes to a lot of the gray areas and the darker areas that this world has to offer. Akupara, let's just say I'm glad I'm an envoy rather than a pirate.
Did you see what happened when Uzlium came to the rescue?
I saw it, I heard it, I felt it rumble through the earth and beneath my feet. Yes, it was very abundantly clear. Yeah.
Yes. And do you think that Miss Lila Thorell there would be now safe if it wasn't for Uzlium?
I have faith that's guided me through the hardest parts of my life. I don't think she would have even gotten to that point if she didn't have someone helping her. And that... I couldn't control these new atrocities, this cruel environment, the life-threatening tension I felt. I don't think she would have made it. I don't think she would have even made it to that point without her help.
Yes, but the question is, do you think she would be here now without Uzlium?
I have faith that it would not have been easy, but we could have saved her.
Yes, but it was us who did. It doesn't matter what would have happened. What happened has happened. You have the armor of the envoy, as you said.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, Mayhem, do you think Sen is worthy to be in the company of such a person as you? Do you think Sen is really worth it? You see, she murdered someone.
I try and reasonably see Sen's side of this. I ask questions from everybody. I see. When we began, and we were all stuck together, this group, Sen was one of the first to follow my way, to save a life, to keep our foes alive, so that way we could work with them later. And without her help, we wouldn't have saved who we did. I am not stealthy enough. Clearly.
I have no further questions.
I have one more question.
Redirect, Your Honor.
Yes.
Read it.
Channel Divinity, I'm gonna put some peaceful persuasion right now, since I'm nearing the end.
Okay. It lasts for 10 minutes?
It does, but I
Okay.
didn't know how long the conversation was gonna go.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
I just have one question for you, Mayhem. It might be a two-parter. Where was Uzlium when Grand Deadeye died?
They had already left.
Which people killed Grand Deadeye?
Maya and Natrix.
And who are those two traveling with?
You and I and Rhea. And
Sorry.
All the stomachs.
Mayhem gulps again.
I did not eat dinner. I'm sorry. Sorry.
No further questions.
You may step down, envoy.
Thank you. It's not as bad a squeak, though.
Yeah. Pardon me. Going all the way back.
Excuse me.
All right. We're just going down the list, aren't we? Again, my constituent here has been belaboring the defense on how death follows her. To that, there's a situation I'm unsure if you are aware of that happened in Hyria that revolved around misuse of magic from an Uzlium mage.
And you, here as one of the people step up, you guys both look, and it's a Gessa. And she goes, "We know very well what happened in Hyria." And Hakem kind of stops her. "Be seated, Gessa. Please continue."
In the opening statement of the prosecution, he says that all mages are dangerous. What I would like to present is, in the case of Hyria, the current doctrine of Uzlium can be ineffective. I would like to call. Oh, fuck. Who do I want to call? I choose you.
Before you do that, I'm going to have you roll your persuasion roll for your argument, by the way.
You sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I was one. I was.
Yeah, go ahead with advantage. I assume you're using your armor?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I assumed.
Yeah. And the bonus.
Let's go.
Yeah, and the emissary.
The
of
bonus
peace.
5 from
Yeah.
Emissary of Peace. Yep.
19, good start. 19. Oh, we're good. Good, that's a 9. So, yeah, 24. 24. Oh, wait, plus 5.
No.
I'm just kidding.
I swear to God.
For those on the podcast, I held up the fairly skill check.
Just no.
29.
Mayhem just
That
vomits
was
on.
only your best argument yet.
So how much?
19 plus the 5, and then regular persuasion,
Yeah,
right?
which plus 6 for you, I think.
Plus 6. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's 30. 30.
30.
That's 30.
Everyone, while you are going down, everyone notices while you're going down. Everyone is looking at you and like,
You look real good. You look real good.
yeah, you look real good.
Damn,
Mayhem.
his armor wink at me?
Damn. Looking on fleek.
As you were coming down, and you look very stunning, you know, very, very resplendent coming out, and everyone is just kind of like, whoa, that is a paladin of Rao.
Fist pump! Sweet. Did I ruin it?
Nice.
All right.
Don't besmirch my religion with that. Dabbing.
Stand.
One of David also is like, documents, yeah, we could, yeah.
I would like to call Elthiel, cleric of the Uzlium embassy from Hyria, to the stand. If she is here. If not, can we bring her here?
Teleport her now.
We'll say for the sake of brevity that she's here, and they open the doors and go and call her, and she gets brought in. She was not in for this conversation, so
Cool.
she comes in and takes the stand. I am Althiel of Obad High.
Right. You said she was blonde, right?
Yes.
Can I do a perception check to see if I sense any maple
Go ahead and roll.
smell? 18.
18. You kind of get a little bit as she passes by, but nothing strikes you or triggers any memory.
Althea, would you be able to explain to the court your relationship to the defendant, please?
I'm a cleric. I was in charge of healing your body. It was badly burned when you were brought in, and I was tending to your wounds over a number of days.
And what ended that procedure?
The special enforcer from Uzlium came into the room and then changed into what looked like an ogre or a giant of some kind. Used its claw and cut deep into me with it. There was blood everywhere. And he absconded with the defendant.
After that situation, this is the first time we are seeing each other since then, yes?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
What was left in your care after my constituents left you?
They gave me the Special Enforcer's journal, and I brought that to the city alderman, as it showed some proof of what the Special Enforcer had done.
And what had he done?
He had brought into the city an Oni to hunt free mages and kill them. Regardless if they were warlocks or not, they died. The Oni ate them. And then from the journal, it turns out more and more people started going missing, not just free mages, but a lot more people started going missing in Huria. Eventually, the alderman's son as well went missing. When the Special Enforcer went to stop the Oni, it seems that the Oni killed him. And from the writings, looks like took his place and lived in his room for as long as he did.
And I don't know if you were able to absorb all the contents of the journal. How long had this situation taken place?
I'm not sure. It could be month or two.
Month or two. Luckily, I do not believe you will need to recall all of it, because I believe we do have it somewhere here in our midst.
And Agessa holds it up and says, I admit into evidence the journal of the Special Enforcer Susna Tombrook of Uzlium.
Excellent. May I,
Yeah,
Here.
she holds it down. You come over and get it.
Althea, if you could flip to the first page, read what is the first date listed here?
It's about 3 months ago.
And in this last entry above this bloodstained ha ha ha, what is date here?
That's a month ago.
A month ago. So, in this special enforcer from Uzlium, under Uzlium teaching, for 3 months, had an Oni, at which time he lost control of, and then a month ago, he himself was killed, give or take, and since then, the Oni has run rampant for over a month. Is that pan out to you?
That is what this seems to say.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that... I rescind that, Your Honors. And in that month's time, there was no intervention from Uzlium, who literally was living right above you.
No, there wasn't. And at that point you hear, I guess, come in. I would like to also admit into evidence these letters from the alderman requesting further assistance from Uzlium, dated over the last month.
She's on our side.
What now?
There may be, while walking up to the letters, there may be a little like a little like shoulder pop from Sen. She grabs them.
What's wrong with Sen?
She's tapping on the haters.
While you are not the alderman, Althea, would you be able to read a couple of lines from this letter?
Okay, this here says, I am once again requesting assistance with the disappearances in Huria. The special enforcer has not looked into them as he said he would. More and more of our citizens are going missing each day. And it is Uzlium's responsibility to maintain oversight on their special enforcers.
No further questions.
Ilsfar comes up. So, Althea... When the Frostworms, myself, and my squad came into town, you will remember that we were contacted by Uzlium to handle this problem. Is that correct? Yes. When we were caring for Sen, there was communications from Uzlium that sent this Frostworm squad instead of returning to Uzlium to handle the Oni threat. That's right. So Uzlium was, in fact, there, responding to the letters that were just admitted into evidence. Isn't that right? Yeah, yes, they were. No further questions.
Redirect. So, excuse me, Althea. So Ilsar and his company only responded to the letters that were sent a month ago. Then.
It does seem that way.
No further questions, Your Honor.
You may step down, as I guess is looking down and has this big smile across her like scarred face.
Get a little more cheering than choir. Show me the money.
I guess that hashtag slay.
Is there further from the defense?
One of the charges against me was, one was murder, and the other one was illegal possession of Uzlium property. And I can think of no other person better to speak on to the falsehoods of both of those than give David a stare, give him an eyebrow. Then the Karambit's very own Agent 3.
Everyone's kind of like, "Ooh," they're just talking and murmuring, Agent 3.
They're gasping.
They're about to be shook.
You have to say that you're calling him to the stand.
Calling Agent 3 to the stand.
That sounds so cool.
I'm calling Agent 3.
On the phone. Wow, on a flip phone.
It's a flip rock.
As everyone is like talking and looking around, and David stands up and walks up slowly to the stand and goes up, the whole time eyeing his dad.
I'm watching his face too. I'm like, what's he gonna?
Make an insight check.
His dad.
My eyes are just darting back and forth.
Ooh, 10.
10. You can see his dad is being a little. You want to?
A D6.
just one.
Yeah,
A D6,
D6 will help.
Yeah.
Can we all do it?
Yeah, why not?
Can we? Sure. Oh.
I feel like everyone's
14.
watching.
Ooh, 14.
I was like, this is drama. Ooh.
Courtroom drama.
No, I got nothing.
16?
16. Rhea?
23.
23.
11.
11. Everyone but Mayhem.
I was right.
Mayhem still gasp.
Everyone but Mayhem sees.
Sorry, 13.
13. Everyone but Mayhem still sees that he is kind of looking down in almost disbelief, like one of those, like, taking a minute to kind of collect himself as he's looking down, looks up and catches the eyes and just goes, shakes his head slightly back and forth. His mouth is a little open, and he looks over at the Emperor, and the Emperor points to the stand as David takes it.
It's like shit-eating grin. Yeah, like that.
As everyone here knows, this is completely classified. This entire trial is completely classified. Agent 3 may proceed, as can the defense.
All right. So, just going to say hello, Agent 3. It is quite an honor to be in such a man's illustrious presence.
I roll in the stands.
Is that a creaking I hear? Need some eye drops?
He goes, "Thank you very much, Sen. It has been a pleasure working with you. I've worked with a lot of scoundrels and scallywags my day and age. In fact, I recently was working with a number of them on Akupara. Mainly they were all pirates. I was sent there to find Lila Thorell. What I found was much more than that. I found all of you."
Excellent. Well, that takes care of the question of how we met, how you met the defense, excuse me. Just wanted to present a document to you to see. I would like to submit into evidence here, first of all, paperwork that says those daggers are rightfully mine.
And Ilvasar stands up What is this?
Paperwork.
I shall have to have these verified.
You will have your opportunity once they are actually out of the bag.
Fine.
Goes back to my little rucksack, goes to the bottom, pulls out papers. Here they are, these papers, right here. Is it one paper or papers?
I will say it's one paper.
One paper.
For both
this
of them.
one, right here. Agent 3, would you be able to look at that piece of paper for me and identify it?
Yes, this is paperwork that was provided at our last encounter with an Uzlium frost mage down in Ostrin. This was provided by the Mage Nation to Sen, saying that these daggers do in fact belong to her and no one else.
Excellent. Whispers.
Yeah.
Do I give this to you people up here, or what?
I will take it. Zilfasar comes over, grabs it, looks at it. Would have the first ambassador have a look. Goes,
4 eyes are better than 2. Right here,
he takes it,
there.
looks at it.
Just look over to the stand and be like,
This is official. These blades belong to the defendant.
while I would love these back, when we are done here, it's also going to be submitted into evidence.
Yes.
Illegal possession of Uzlium goods, documentation. Correct, Agent 3? For one to possess magical goods from Uzlium, there needs to be either documentation or it needs to be recorded within their brand.
That is correct. Yes. That is the laws of Uzlium.
Yes, excellent. And now to the Before we get to the unfortunate matter, you were there with us while we were in Hyria, no?
That's right, I was.
Mm-hmm. When we encountered and slayed the Oni that was plaguing Hyria, could you describe in as much detail as is professional and as empathic to who may be here, this environment in which we found the Oni?
Yes, the Oni had made a rather large nest for himself out of some caves. There he had been feeding for what seemed months. We found a large amount of bodies. Some eaten more than others. It was a very gruesome scene. Smell alone was repulsive. The sight will never leave me.
In your estimations, how many people were there?
Easily between 40 and 60.
60 people over 3 months' time. Which will lead me into the unfortunate business, for we do not need to, again, bring out a barbaric and grotesque sight again, but the death of one Victoria Timothy. In your dealings in the Karambit, and I'm assuming also in dealings with Uzlium, how much would it cost for someone to just even meet a memory maker?
It's a memory master.
Yes.
Yes, in my experience, Uzlium keeps them very close. It's very difficult to meet one. In fact, all mages meet a memory master at some point, of course, during their first branding.
Yes, but just to clarify, a memory master has to come from Uzlium.
Yes.
Continue.
As far as I know, there of course, there of course could be exceptions.
Okay. In your dealings, how is it possible for one's memory to be taken and implanted?
Well, as I said, one would need a memory master, and they would need to have the materials for implanting that and keeping that memory into the brand. Generally, as I said, it's experienced memory masters that must do it.
As is the possibility of forging a brand, is forging a memory a possibility?
I don't believe so. Personally, I'm not sure. I'm not a magic expert. I imagine those who know how to extract memory may also know how to manipulate it. So yes, I suppose it could be forged. If one was to make someone or modify their memory somehow through magic, and then pull that memory out, that could be a forged memory.
I'm gonna give him a long stare.
Mm-hmm.
Not like, but like, give him a look. And just be like, do I tell you?
He nods slightly at you.
Agent 3, what do you know of the murdered victim, Victoria Timothy?
This woman died as a result of an official Karumbit mission. This woman I did not know her. As some of you may be aware, it was my mission to bring Sen and her compatriots here. I was tasked with showing them some of Lithania and bringing them to the council. I had that girl murdered. Yeah, everyone. I did my job as I am licensed to do. The Karumbit has always seen to Lithania's security, and this was a matter of Lithanian security. My job was to get this group, including Sen, here. Froststorms complicated that. I had to improvise. I had the memory modified, or I had it pulled from Sen. I had it implanted into a false brand, and I had her body placed in the wheelhouse to be found. all under the mandate of this mission and the security of Lithania.
No further questions.
Ilvasar is sitting there, kind of dumbstruck for a second. And kind of shakes his head, rubs his face, stands up. It's so nice to meet Agent 3. You killed that girl. And you say that it is for the betterment of Lithania. And David goes, it's also for the betterment of Uzlium that I did my work. Oh, is that so? And do tell. How? I'm afraid, Ilvasar, you don't have clearance for that.
Oh!
Look up from my paper. Shit.
Where's a mic? He's gotta drop it.
Someone invent a mic!
Damn.
And Ilvasar looks up, and the first ambassador shakes his head.
Shut down.
No further questions.
Oh, shit.
He sits down.
All right. I believe I only have one more point to disprove. Oh. Can I counsel my co-counsel for like a hot second?
You may stand down. Thank you. It is an honor to serve this council and an honor to serve Lithania, as I have my entire life. I plan to give my life for Lithania. He steps down.
Damn.
All right, I have checked off everything except for assault on an Uzlium official.
And what about you not finishing your tests?
I mean, that one's true though. But I.
True though, true though, true. He just starts signing in like thieves can't.
Thieves can't and sign language? I'm impressed.
Yeah, so he signs in thieves can't to you that you've done so much more than those tests.
I know. I know.
He says, call Dauphine.
But what about the assault? I would like to call Dauphine back to the sand, please.
Yes, are you okay?
I am great, Your Highness.
She's not very convincing.
And she
like
is
me.
brought again. The doors open and she's brought back in. She is one of the people that were not allowed to stay for this conversation.
Professor Dauphine, thank you so much for coming back.
It's great to be back, I think. It's good to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you. What does the general lesson plan of the Uzlium College consist of?
Well, there is several different magics that you have to learn, as well as several classes that are on the importance of Uzlium in the world and what we're doing. Of course, everyone must choose a specialty at some point, and
then eventually they make it to the final submission, which is the exit test.
And what does that test consist of?
Usually it consists of different schools of magic and tests, both psychological and practical.
Well, I feel like describing the entire test would be a monumental, it would take quite some time. You say psychological and practical. Would you, as a professor, recommend for a student to be on the island of Akupara?
No, I don't think that would be good for a student.
Why?
Well, they're not ready. They're there with all sorts of, well, brigands and pirates. So, no, I don't think it's a good place for a student. They're not ready.
They are not ready. Let it be known to the court that a student of Uzlium's college would not be ready for Akupara, to be on the island of Akupara.
So noted.
What type of... Would you recommend them confronting an Oni?
No. I'd say that would be a grave mistake.
Because they would be...
Dead.
Let that be noted as well, that a student of Uzlium would be dead if facing an Oni. Would you recommend any of your students to travel across Lithuania with one other Uzlium mage? Students with an Uzlium mage.
Students are usually, they stay at the college until they're ready. So no, I would not let them out with another Uzlium mage.
What would make them not ready in this situation?
Well, they may not have passed all of the exams, particularly the ones that test how committed to Uzlium you are.
Mm. Of the schools of magic, which ones do they test usually? All 8 of the standard?
Well, that's your specialty, whatever you're doing, but then there's the ones that kind of cross in between, that you must know. Several spells of transmutation, even illusion. Every mage must know some.
With the court's permission, may I present my ability in spells?
What did you have in mind as a demonstration?
Well, one, Professor Ricksham says I am unable to do evocation. I would like to show a small part of that, as well as a couple other things that are not as destructive.
I will leave this to the first ambassador. What spell is it you are going to be using?
I will do Ray of Frost, to show not mastery, but knowledge of evocation, because even though we are finished with schooling, we still learn more in the world. Disguise self for illusion, catapult for transmutation, shield for abjuration. And that's 4.
That would satisfy.
Excellent. Where can I shoot something? How tall is this roof?
It's pretty big. You're in a very large area here that goes up maybe like 80 plus feet.
Excellent. I'll throw a ray of frost up without hitting the ceiling.
And as you point up, this blue energy kind of coalesces at the fingertip and goes. And a ray that is not too long, just about like this, kind of goes off. Dissipates.
Evocation. I will then cast catapult, and I will look at. Oh God. Is there like books on the?
Yeah, there would be some.
Just point at point at the book and point up.
The book goes flying.
And as it comes down, I'm gonna try and catch it.
Dex check.
Yes.
That will be a 15.
Yes.
Not too bad.
No.
You catch it
Nice.
right there as it's coming down.
After that, I will use disguise self, and I will look like Ilvasar
Yes.
Totally look like Ilvasar.
with the red help.
With the
red eye.
eyes.
And last but not least, I'll drop it. Ilvasar or First Ambassador, I'm sure one of you know Magic Missile.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, she's
You-
crazy.
Don't you want us to hit you with magic missile?
Go ahead.
What's that say, HP?
Shield.
So, 3 bolts come out.
Starting to do hand gestures for Mr. Angel Food Cake. Just
As 3 bolts shoot out, and they kind of intertwine, come down, go up all the way to the ceiling, then as the shield goes up, this blue energy kind of surrounds Sen, and then boom, boom, it's like it's absorbed, and ripples through the shield.
Drops it. That I did not learn in school.
And everyone, there is the murmuring and people talking and pointing out things. And Delphine is looking at you like, looking at what you've done. And I suppose you should show a specialization as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. About that, I don't have my spellbook anymore. It was confiscated. Looks over at Elvisar.
The spell cards that Sen uses are with me. And as the first ambassador looks down, what do you need it for?
Well, one of the spells is for blade singing specifically, and I do not have it unless it's in there.
You will be granted them,
Cool.
but only the one.
Yes. I draw my card.
Yeah.
Draw my card.
There you go.
I will
Have faith.
also, for this demonstration, I just need one of the daggers. I will leave it unsheathed.
Granted.
Thank you.
Right back to your hand.
Actually, I lied. I may need to unsheath it. Is that okay?
You are treading on thin ice here. You may, but do not point it at anyone.
Certainly. I will draw out the blade.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being sassy.
Stop being so sassy. Oh,
Horrible
God.
mayhem whisper.
Sassy, where are you? Where are you?
Sassy, sassy.
All right. I will draw the blade, and I will step into a stance activating blade song.
You guys watch as Sen readies herself and activates Blade Song with the dagger. And when that happens, this dagger starts to extend from a dagger to more of a short sword look. Instead of like just a straight like this, it starts to get a little bit of a curve on the blade right there. And you start to see water starting to drip from it, from the blade itself. Water that I assume you're then going to shape.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. I will shape water, and the water becomes more along the blade, just kind of enveloping it. And then
So what you see is you see this water kind of flowing up and down the blade. It's not leaving, it's not standing still, but you see this flow going around this blade.
I will cast Song 1, Stream After Winter's Thaw. Mind you, this is Conjuration. And I will look at 4 points. 1 at Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
Who's sitting next to him?
Think if you
Yeah, I'll be sitting next to you.
is it the setup? I feel like except
Yeah.
Maya's to my left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at Mayhem. Look at Rhea. Look at Emperor Hakem. And then the final one, Ilvasar.
Mm-hmm.
And then just, in an instant, hop between 1, 2, 3, 4.
So what you guys see is all of a sudden a blur. If you could slow down time, you would see this water kind of going around and flowing through, and like Sen is flowing through that water, and then pops up behind Mayhem all of a sudden, and then pops up on the other side of, who is it, Rhea. And then before you could look, Sen again is coming through and appears right next to Hakem. And all of a sudden, right next to Ilvasar. As the blade keeps flowing, and you see some water kind of drip when she finally hits the last one. You feel like a little water spray out.
I drop the blade song, and then I just take it, and I stab the sword right in front of Ilvasar.
Oh, we have crossed from sassy to ballsy.
What did I just say?
Let it go. Look to Dauphine. No further questions, John.
Dragonborn jaw. Drops.
Giant pendulous balls on Sen.
I know, there's a dragon on the floor. Just
awesome.
dragon.
Roll your persuasion.
Just both the balls.
Wheelbarrow.
Roll your persuasion. I'm not going to give you advantage or disadvantage because the balls were there. So some people are going to take that a little differently. So just straight roll.
They were out.
Whoop.
Oh, in the box.
No pants.
16.
16. So people are looking around. Ilvasar takes the blade out, sheathes it, and puts it down. And he stands up and puts his hand up. Says, "Wait, there's something I wish to ask Dauphine now on Cross." You mentioned, Delphine, that there was something else that Sen must pass. The psychological portion. Proving that she is, in fact, ready to leave Uzlium. I suggest we conduct that now.
Oh, shit.
Sen's interior monologue.
Chibi-sen.
I suggest to the court that we take a brief recess, during which time myself, the first ambassador, Delphine, and Master Riksham speak with Sen and administer the final exam. How does the defense feel about this?
I am ready, Your Highness.
Very well. A brief recess is ordered, and a room will be provided. So ordered. You guys then hear all the murmurs of everyone who was there talking. You are escorted by all of them to a little room where you guys are, given some water, some refreshments. You, however, are put into this room. We're gonna roll for this. we're not gonna get into the specifics of the test, but we are going to roll to see how well you answer. Let's go ahead and do some contested rolls for the first test.
Oh my god, Sen, you're going to graduate.
We'll do wisdom first.
Motherfucker!
Okay.
Wisdom check or wisdom save?
A wisdom check.
Yeah,
Can we-
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
of course.
Let's
Obviously.
See will play.
Do it plus?
A dice or a whole reroll?
Yeah.
Okay, that.
This
What
is
did
perfect.
you roll?
That would have been a 10.
What a benevolent idea.
No way.
Oh!
What?
It's a 2.
Shook. Oh no.
I rolled a 2.
Damn.
Take that. I'm just like,
Nervous.
graduate college!
You're doing
Now.
great, honey.
I will let you choose the next two. Wisdom or deception?
Deception?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, deception, please.
Okay. Okay.
that's why we love her.
What we're insinuating by this is that Sen is not indoctrinated and you're attempting to deceive them of that fact. Making sure.
Oh, please, God.
What
yeah,
was it?
Yeah.
It's a 1.
No.
It's a natural one. You cannot add to it.
Can I not
you
reroll?
You can't.
You cannot re-roll. You have to take the natural one.
It was in the update.
When did we get an update?
It's weeks ago. Like, even I got it.
Was I here?
I think, right?
All that work.
Like, it was before you left.
A natural one.
Sen is in there. Heard it burr. Yes, Uzlium.
Oh no!
Is it full of water or is
It's
it?
been 0 days since James spilled.
I'll
take it.
Since James has spilled.
I'll go get some napkins and tissues. The tissues.
Oh man.
I'm gonna touch you.
I think you're going back to Uzlium, bro.
It's okay.
Oh, bye, Sen.
Damn.
You have one more roll.
I gave up on that.
Uh-huh.
That's not good.
Go ahead and roll.
I just...
Either one. Deception or wisdom.
Deception.
Just dig the grave. Just dig it.
You're already this deep in the hole.
Yeah.
Right.
You might as well commit.
Double or nothing.
Balls deep, yo.
Can I get a reroll?
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, you can.
Throw
yes,
the
you
things.
freaking can. Throw the things.
Thank you.
19.
19.
19. So, because this is a series of checks here, and a natural one does not critically fail a skill check, I am using an average of what you got. So that was a 1 plus what?
Oh, 7. Or so 6, but 7 total.
Okay.
Deception.
Okay, so your first roll you rolled a 10, the second roll was a 7, and the third roll was a what?
19.
A 19.
So
The-
36.
They get done, and everyone is called back, and they file in. And the first ambassador says, "It is the opinion of myself and Uzlium that Sen be granted full rights as an Uzlium mage."
Holy shit, yo!
She does scream!
David's like,
You did it!
so you know that first 2 I rolled? Here was
No.
my last roll.
Is that a 5?
It's a 5. I rolled some shitty rolls.
You got so lucky.
You got very lucky.
What was your second roll?
Huh? My second roll was much higher. It was a 12.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's awesome.
Some divine intervention.
Rao wanted this.
Oh, Rao wants
wanted
this.
Thank you, Chicken Knight. Chicken.
They say
Heck.
the council will now adjourn briefly to discuss and deliberate. We will come back with our final answer. We'll go ahead and fast forward to that moment where they come back.
But it's like 12 Angry Men, right? in the...
Oh, I haven't seen it actually.
We need
Watch
to
it.
rectify that.
Yeah, is that good?
Yes.
It's so
100%.
good.
Okay.
It's just like 12 actors being amazing. Sorry, continue.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to.
it's-
I'll have to.
We'll talk.
I saw it as an
Yeah, we'll
annoying
talk about
teenager and I
straight.
loved it.
It's saying something. But teenagers also like Michael Bay, so. Huh?
Yeah.
I don't.
Sorry, we'll talk about this tomorrow. Oh wait, there's no Chaos Agents tomorrow.
Oh, darn.
So we'll do
Pandemic
movie
it is.
talk
Phone
instead.
call.
So you all come back, and Emperor Hakem goes, "I have spoken with the council, and in particular with the first enchanter. Sorry, not enchanter. That's from something else. The first ambassador. The first ambassador, as Sen, is now a full Uzlium mage. And as she has proven herself through the battles at Akupara and the subsequent issues in Lithania, that she and this party have helped, you will be assigned as an Uzlium mage to Lithania in service of Lithania. For we are in need from this group. And it is clear to this council and to myself that Sen is an integral part of this group.
Therefore, Sen will not be remanded to Uzlium. And is instead her services will be contracted by the Lithanian government. So, you, Sen, are free to go. And you, Ilvisar, are free to return to Uzlium. This court is adjourned. That's it.
Sigh.
Goodness.
As that happens, people are standing up. David gives you a big old hug right there and is celebrating with you. As you're doing that, you're looking kind of behind him as he picks you up, and you can see his father looking at him. And you see just this brief moment of, should I go over there? And then he leaves.
David!
Oh, I'm so glad you won. I'm so glad.
Oh God, this is hard. Can you let go, please?
Sorry.
No, I feel you. I look around at Elvisar. Like, where did he go?
He's sitting there, looking up at the council, looking down, looking at the daggers, turning over and looking at Sen. He picks up his helmet. Eyes red. Until we next meet, Sen of Uzlium.
I feel like it was simply because of your job and also because you lost your hand, but it's growing back. It's looking good.
He looks at you extending your hand out to shake the hand he doesn't have. And he just brushes past you and walks off. And then
See you out in the field.
you see him disappear.
I was trying to be I turned to David. I was trying to be genuine. I really was.
No, I think you were great. That was real nice. You were the bigger person there, clearly.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we also won, so can kind of afford to be.
I like this new chill David.
I mean, you get to breathe now, right? Because
That's right.
you've
That's
done your
right.
job.
I have, and you did spectacularly, Sen. You and everyone here, you did so well. Now, I think that we have a night where we get to enjoy ourselves before we come before the council again tomorrow, because that's when they're going to ask us the big questions. But for now, we all deserve a night off, eh?
I look to these four, like, pull up my pouch. Drinks on me?
Lemon juice.
Drinks on set.
We got
Drinks
juice!
on set.
We're gonna get juice!
Drinks on set.
Juice. It's
No
good.
juice for you.
Juice. What?
And you also see Ilvisar. Then
I thought he bamfed.
no, sorry. Before he left, you looked over there, and there are your daggers and your spell cards
Nice.
sitting there.
I grab my daggers, tie them off on my side, grab my cards. Look at Mayhem.
Oh no.
Yes. Absolutely.
Rolled an 18 on sleight of the hand.
Perception.
Okay.
Yes.
You gotta love the dice. Perception?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11 again.
11.
It's 11 again.
So everyone else all of a sudden looks as
I'm putting the cards away, and then I look over
I turn around.
Look on your forehead.
Yeah, when Natrix does, and they say that. Just, and he kind of hesitantly goes up, peels it off. Yeah. Oh my. What card was it? King of Clubs. No, yes. Oh my goodness, that was. Excuse me, and I'm gonna shuffle past them, and I'm gonna get to Sen. Please excuse me. I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. Please, it was your card. Take it. Just take the card. Just use it.
Thank you. And then, if I can do a minor illusion while he's hugging me, I will have a bunny appear on whatever way Mayhem is looking.
There's a little sparkly white rabbit that you have seen, what, twice now?
3 times.
3 times now. Over there.
Maya, quick! Look! I wasn't.
Witch bolt. No. I'm just kidding.
This rabbit.
But when he recognizes it, I snap it out of existence.
It's good to have you back, Sid, and your very, very interesting ways of interacting with me.
Good to be back.
Well, then let's go back to. Let's go find it in to get sloshed in, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Slosh.
Finally.
Whatever that means.
Speaking some sense.
I see what you did there.
Why, thank
Sense. Did you say what did I do?
As you guys head out to go for a night of celebrations and jubilation, that's where we're going to end it for the night.
Intoxication.
An intoxication. That is
Awesome.
where we're going to. Hey, congratulations, guys! Seriously, well done, James. That it was, like I said, it was going to be a hard case. At the break, it was. I think we did a poll amongst the people to see, if Sen was guilty or not, and what I saw of it was leaning pretty heavy guilty. So I'm very, very,
Shit!
very, very impressed. Yeah.
They watch the show. They know she's guilty.
That's right. But it was handled very, very well. I loved the arguments you brought up. I loved what you brought to it. Everyone else, of course, did so much work. They were all strategizing during the break.
Like, shit! No, put it on
this.
It was wonderful. So congratulations. Got a lot of Sen backstory today as well, and I thought it was a good chance to kind of look at some of the other stuff that we've done over the last year. You know, getting to this point, Akupara, Karma, the trial of the envoy, a lot of that.
Look back.
Yeah, not want to look
See,
back.
this is how you do a recap episode.
That's what's up. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
In a semi-terrifying manner. Yeah.
We had Ingavar Chaos who won the Nord deck. So congratulations, Ingavar Chaos. Well deserved. And 500 bits from Usimiwa. Asumiwa. Excuse me. Asumiwa. To the players. So there it is. Ooh, nice catch. Nice catch. Asumiwa. All right.
Listen to the cleric.
Listen to the
We
cleric.
don't have one.
We did today. She
Oh,
was
wait,
You
yeah,
called the
we did.
cleric. I was so
Yeah.
surprised. Well done.
Very nice.
Well done. I was like, accent, okay, we'll go with this. I'm pretty sure it's accurate. Sounds familiar.
I mean, the first time we saw her, she was beat the crap out.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Just bleeding to death. It's fine.
First time you saw her, she was the Oni.
No.
Ended things right there.
Man.
So thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone who donated and stopped by and watched. And of course, thanks for starting your week off right with a critical fail. But this time, a critical success. Well done. Well done. Almost that. That one was awful.
After that.
See you guys.